So in today's video, I go over why designing for manufacturing is so important. I also talk about how we simplified one of our top selling products to eliminate waste during assembly, and how basic tools like build boards and Kanban cards have helped us remove overprocessing and focus on more important tasks. So again, we enter these aisles, we have all our raw components, we have our build boards. These guys right here, you guys can grab that. So when we build something, all the components that go into the product get pre-populated. We fill these build boards with everything we need. And this is our larger component, so we have 2 of these build boards. And so that's the first thing we do. Is it over-processing to do an extra step instead of starting to build it, but to fill this? Maybe. But what's worse, over-processing or having a defect in assembly where it goes to the customer and they're like, this thing doesn't work. So that's why we take the time to fill this. If we're done building it and there's something left over, we've made a mistake. It's called a visual indicator. We've got these bins that typically, like most of these bins have 2 sides, a black side and a red side. And so what we do here is, as we're assembling, we're pulling inventory, like these pins, from the black side. When we get to this, when this is empty, we take this, we flip it around, we immediately take this Kanban card out, and then we scan it. That gets it reordered. We work from the red side, okay? Now, what happens when this comes from, McMaster-Carr, when McMaster-Carr delivers the same day or next day, we just get a bag of these pins. What do? We don't want to overprocess to look around and go, oh, where do we put it? Our eyes are instantly drawn to the red side of the bins, which easily stands out. We go, oh yeah. And then we go, I'm holding a pin. That's the exact same thing. Visual indicator. Like when you see a part number or the name of something, believe it or not, your brain has to go, okay, I know this says 1/4 inch by 1/2 inch dowel pin. You're having to picture that in your mind. And then you're like, I think it looks like this. And you're having to go through and look in every bin. Visual indicator, 0 brain processing to compare it. Like literally a 1-year-old could do that. We want to make work so easy that we can do that. And again, we would flip this around. We would take the minimum, which is 25. Just make sure close to 25 are on this side. Put the Kanban card back in. Take the bag or bags, dump them all back in here. Put it back on. So again, we're not missing anything. We're not waiting for something to show up. Everything is always in stock. We have like bag sealers, like when you're done, don't have someone else bag the product. You bag it, you put it on the shelf. That's about it. Yeah, so all these things, visual indicators. We all know at this point what a PPS inlet bridge looks like, but we don't always know what it means at 3 o'clock on Friday, or at like 5:30 a.m. on a Monday, when our brains are not quite firing on all cylinders. We just do easy images out of Fusion just to make it easier on the brain. When you go home stressed at the end of the day and you're like, dude, I'm exhausted. Well, what'd you do? Not too much that was exhausting. Your brain is exhausted. Your brain overprocessed. We want to eliminate that misused brain power, waste number 8.
Engineering students from Cal State Northridge. So a lot of times we're prioritizing designing, engineering, understanding the really small details about how things work. Mm-hmm. But we never did really emphasis on how things get made, the effort it takes to get things made. Yeah. How much of a product is engineering versus manufacturing, production, shipping, assembly? What's most of the difficulty? Is it in designing or is it in the production and assembly? Yeah,
so me being like the chief designer, DFM, design for manufacturing, it's huge. So our PPS, when I designed it in 2010, we made it all the way up through 2020, and it had 7 different fasteners because it needed this size and it needed that size. I went, that's terrible, because not only are we buying our fasteners in bags of 1,000 at a time, now we've got 7 shelves and 7,000 fasteners if they're all in stock. I redesigned it in 2020, so we only use 1 fastener size. It's my favorite new size, 1/4 28 by 1 inch. One size of fastener, to build the entire PPS base. So now instead of having to have 7,000 parts, 7 different SKUs, managing that inventory, we have one. And guess what? The manufacturer's like, hey, you used to buy 1,000 at a time. If you could buy 2,500, you'll get a 50% discount. Heck yeah, we'll totally do that. So now it's easier to assemble, it's easier to manage, and it actually costs less. So DFM is number one. And then the manufacturing, who's the manufacturing? You are, yeah, oh, so important. I love manufacturing engineers. You guys are the ones that like make the dreams come true. And then once the dream comes true, you help them like dream it even better and better and better. Huge, like, yeah, that's probably 90% of manufacturing. It's not just like what should be done, but how to do it, and then continually how to make it better. So
how do you prevent like a mistake from happening? Like if someone were to come and see like the red bin and order inventory and they leave and someone else comes, so they don't order it twice?
Yeah, okay, so when you pull the Kanban card, you take it over to the computer, you scan it, and then this card goes into, you'll see it, there's like a tray over there. And so this can't be scanned twice because it's only gonna be in one of 2 locations, with the component or in the tray. And so that when McMaster drops it off and they go, okay, we have a tray that says, I think it says McMaster, they pull out and they're like, oh, there it is, here's the item. Then they walk it over, resupply it. So it would never get double ordered because there's nothing to scan over here. So good question. Yeah, right here, Kanban cards. Like when we package things, they pull boxes from left to right. When they get to this 3D printed thing with a Kanban card, that's when it gets pulled and it gets reordered. So no one ever has to ask, hey, how many do we keep? When do we need to reorder them? Who do we reorder them for? Who's the person that does the reordering? If you can pull the trigger on a barcode scanner, you can reorder it. So again, all the process of procurement, like negotiating the price, finding the vendor, purchasing the right amounts, done. Purchasing is easy. We're pretty much like in production on most of these, but you would see Kanban cards stuck like here's a Kanban card. The next 2 914 bases that get shipped, we hit a Kanban card, they scan it, it goes into production. And everything should be easy. Sometimes you see this. This says breadcrumbs. So it's kind of like a funny term in the lean world. So breadcrumb means that, hey, don't order more, don't start producing more of these vacuum power units. We want you to follow a breadcrumb. Upstairs, we've got like 50 more of these that are packaged. Again, we don't want to put 70 of these on a shelf. That would be excess inventory. Do we really need 70 on a shelf every day? No, we need 20. Great. Then we free up the shelf space to put our other products or adjacent products. So it's just one of those little things that we question, like, do we need it? Number one, question assumptions and requirements. We don't need 70 on the shelf. We produce 100 at a time, 70 upstairs, 20, 30 here. That's kind of like the mindset. So the other thing that I'm super proud of is in this whole room, none of these were my ideas. These were lean principles. These are things that I took in, whether reading or YouTube, digested. Okay, guys, I think we can start doing this. Let me show you some videos. Let me print off an article. You guys go do it. So the build station, the shelves, I told them there's these things called indicator bins. They found the supplier, they bought them. I told them, hey, we should start doing these visual indicators. Here's a YouTube video that shows. Yeah, it means taking the component and gluing it onto the front of it. This is one thing I'm super excited about. Who grew up playing with Legos? Yeah. So I love Legos. I kind of love IKEA. I love it because there's no words in any Legos instruction sheet. IKEA, international company, we want to do the same thing as much as possible. So ideally on the first day of someone comes in new, they can build our vacuum power unit to completion perfectly every time by following these pictures like Legos. And we also have QR codes they can scan, that type of stuff, to watch a video. But this is brilliant. And I didn't come up with this. I just said, hey, here's a build sheet idea, just run it. And then like a week later, yeah, perfect. All the way to testing and cleaning it, getting it ready to be packaged. So these are things that are just sprinkled all over the company. So again, like black sticks, we know that there's black sticks in here, but sweep, sort, standardize. Sweep, clean up stuff that doesn't lead to helping us in our process. Sort, go put things away in their place. If a thing doesn't have a place, standardize. That's what the third S is. So we know that if black sticks are labeled and they go here, you don't get to put a trash can here when we go to 0. You don't get to stand here. You don't get to put, like, you know, your dog here. It's only black sticks. We've standardized the spot. So standardization is huge around here. So guys, I hate to break it to you, but this is our final video of our shop tour series. Now, if you're interested in learning more about our journey from a small shop to a lean factory, make sure and subscribe, not just this channel, but over on our main channel where we go in depth about work holding, manufacturing, machine purchases, all the fun stuff that us shop workers like to talk about. Now, until next series, go innovate your production.